Zion and Bryce Canyon National Parks are some of the most famous federally protected lands in the entire Southwest. Both parks make up roughly 8 million visitors each year, and there is a clear reason why. Bryce Canyon boasts one of the most magical experiences in Utah, allowing you to walk amongst massive rock formations called hoodoos, and enjoy its lush, colorful valley, as well as Zion National Park, the crown jewel of Utah, which presents its visitors with its world-renowned trails and some of the best desert canyon scenery out there. Join Rachel and I in our final episode of our Utah road trip, as we explore amazing scenery, witness Utah's magical wildlife, and ascend one of the most unique hikes in the world, Angel's Landing, and make some awesome friends along the way. I hope that you enjoy. After enjoying our time in Capitol Reef National Park, we drove 2.5 hours to the town of Bryce Canyon City, where we would be staying the night. Bryce Canyon City is less than a mile from the entrance to the park, so it makes for a nice and easy place to stay. Morning. We forgot to record quite a bit of things because we got to Bryce very late and we were tired, but we did go stargazing, got amazing photos of that. We are now a little more rested and ready to head into Bryce Canyon. So, we'll see you then. Located in southwest Utah, this park is known for its rock formations called hoodoos, having the largest concentration of them on Earth, as well as an excellent spot for stargazing due to its high elevation. Most of the park sits at above 8,000 feet, with some portions, like Rainbow Point, reaching 10,000 feet, so be aware that it gets pretty cold here in the winter. Once getting into the park, we headed to the visitor center. This was the largest visitor center we had seen so far, and the geological and wildlife area was really neat. Apparently, Bryce Canyon sits at the top of the Grand Staircase, while the Grand Canyon sits at the bottom. A nice contrast. There's also a really neat interactive night sky light pollution exhibit here. After enjoying our time in the visitor center for a couple minutes, we headed to the main portion of the park. Despite its name, Bryce Canyon is not actually a canyon, but rather a collection of massive amphitheaters, the main amphitheater containing many of the famous viewpoints, including this one, Sunset Point. When the sun sets in this viewpoint, it lights up the hoodoos with all sorts of vibrant colors. After this, we went out on the Rim Trail, which follows the rim of the amphitheater all the way to Inspiration Point. We didn't go that far, but I highly recommend doing some of this trail as it's very easy and provides great views, with the lush forest on your right and the hoodoos on your left. After this, we headed out on the Queen's Garden and Navajo Loop Trail. The Queen's Garden and Navajo Loop Trail is the most popular trail in the entire park, for good reason, as you slowly descend into the amphitheater, walking amongst hoodoos that get up to 200 feet tall at some points. Here's some of my favorite photos from that initial first descent of the hike. The combined trail length is about 3 miles with an elevation gain of 652 feet. We started at Sunrise Point and headed clockwise through the loop. The way we chose allows us to skip the long climb in exchange for a much steeper but shorter climb up the Navajo Loop Trail. Either direction, you will have a moderately difficult hike. Hoodoos are formed through an erosion-resistant layer of rock that is surrounded by a much softer sandstone. Over the course of millions of years, wind, rain, and snow eat away at these ancient formations to create the spire-like shape we see of them today. Like arches in eastern Utah, these will not last forever and one day will fall. I would highly recommend doing this hike if you come to Bryce Canyon. These videos just don't do it adequate justice. We're finishing up the Queen's Garden Trail right now, and then we're heading to the Navajo Loop right now. I would highly recommend doing this trail. It is very, very scenic. Just do it clockwise, because counterclockwise is quite a steep incline, but otherwise this is amazing. We're gonna go on our incline now. It shouldn't be as bad. Let's see you at the top. This is the main point of interest for the Navajo Loop section of the trail. It's very pretty, but also very steep. We just finished Navajo Loop and Queen's Garden Trail. Navajo Loop is pretty steep if you're going the other direction, but it was cool. Got some good pictures, good experience of the inner parts of the canyon. Here now, we might hit some lunch, have a snack.
My 2 hats.
Her and her 2 hats. We're gonna get a snack or some lunch or something, and then we're gonna do the scenic drive, check out all the points. The park's scenic drive ascends another 1,100 feet and takes you by some awesome overlooks of other amphitheaters. Point, 8,300 feet. Dedicated to the shot. Photographers are insane. You have to understand this. Have to be insane. Fairview Point, 8,800 feet. It is probably cold. There's not much else to say about these scenic overlooks other than the fact that they're very accessible and stunning. So I'm just going to let the views speak for themselves. It was getting dark, so we turned around to get these awesome colors for sunset. We missed sunset, but it still looked awesome.
We're leaving Bryce right now. We tried to get Sunset Point, didn't work out too well for us, but that's okay. We are heading to dinner, and we are going to see the meteor shower tonight. I will show photos in just a minute, but
What's that smell?
what that smell is. But Bryce was amazing, 10 out of 10, and we'll be heading to Zion tomorrow. So yeah.
We went back to our spot from Sunset Point to check out stargazing. If you thought that the stargazing in Capitol Reef was good, Bryce Canyon blows it out of the park. It's just as remote, but that high elevation makes for extremely clear skies. All right, we are now leaving our hotel and heading into Zion National Park. So we will see you then. The drive to Zion is about an hour and a half, and the view transition that you are about to see is really something else. After arriving in Zion, we headed on the short half-mile hike to the Zion Canyon Scenic Overlook.
Through the tunnel.
This is a short one that's pretty easy that leads to an awesome view of Zion. The first time you exit the tunnel and see the canyon up close is a memory that we will never forget. After that awesome drive into the park, we headed to the visitor center. At this time, I would like you all to savor the sights and sounds of Zion National Park. There's something about this park that just easily puts it above the rest that we had seen so far. After enjoying our time in the canyon for a little while, we headed to the Emerald Pools Trail. Because of recent weather shutting down the trail, we had to take an alternate route to get to the Emerald Pools. Do know that the normal route is pretty easy. After this, we went back to the valley floor and enjoyed ourselves by the riverside, while being greeted with tons of wildlife. So, we've been in Zion for about 2 hours now. We've barely seen any of the main things in the park, but I just want to say that this is by far the best park we've seen out of all the 5 we've seen in Utah. It's like a mixture of everything you would love about any of the other parks. It has the grand vistas of Canyonlands, the serenity of Bryce Canyon, and the odd rock structures of arches. It's just unbelievable. And the color of Capitol Reef. This place is very colorful. Do know that this is pretty crowded any time of year you come. It's not that bad in the winter, although there's no shuttles at certain times, especially near Christmas, like where we are. And so do understand that the shuttles won't be running, and so all the parking will be taken up. Other than that, though, this place is outstanding. After enjoying the valley floor and taking wildlife photos for a few hours, we headed back to Springdale to get ready to ascend Angel's Landing the next morning. Just saying, our hotel
has the most Christmas lights in town. Just saying. Just saying.
We'd made it a tradition to eat massive breakfasts in the morning, then basically nothing else for the rest of the day to get as much time in the parks as we could, and the Park House Cafe was easily my favorite breakfast. It was really fancy looking, but my meal actually only cost $11. We just ate at the Park House Cafe. Good morning. We are heading to our final National Park Day in Zion, and we are heading to Angel's Landing for our finale, and then we're going to explore the rest of the park afterwards. See you then.
Okay, there we go.
iPad kids after locking the iPad for 3,000 years.
I was just trying to say that we're heading to a general store to go and get Gatorade, because Gatorade, from what my mother has told me, because when I was a kid, or not really a kid, but younger, we used to go skiing in Colorado, and we drank a lot of Gatorade because it had electrolytes in it, which is supposed to be good for elevation gain. So if you are going on a big hike and there's a lot of elevation gain and you're not really used to that, apparently Gatorade is supposed to help with that a lot. So there's a piece of information if you needed it. It's big.
At the Angel's Landing Trail. Since 2004, blank people have died falling from the cliffs of this route.
No people have died.
Yeah, no people. Somebody scratched that out for sure. There it is all the way up there.
Because of how narrow Angel's Landing gets, the Park Service implemented a permit system to cut down on crowding with this trail. Since Angel's Landing is one of the most popular hikes in the world, you have to get a permit like us to hike it. You can still hike to Scouts Overlook, which is a majority of the trail. Just know that once you get to the Angel's Landing section with the chains, you're going to have to turn around unless you have a permit. This is a pretty difficult hike. It is about 4.5 miles out and back with over 1,400 feet of elevation gain. The trail has a section known as the Walters Wiggles, which are 21 steep switchbacks that are probably the toughest part.
We're about to go to Angel's Landing. Rachel, you're going. Good luck to us.
Angel's Landing stands on its own in a half-mile climb through a narrow chain section with several thousand-foot drops on both sides to the top. As long as you're careful, you'll be okay though. Finally getting to that top plateau in the middle of Zion Canyon while being surrounded by its massive canyon walls is one of the greatest experiences of our entire lives. The sheer size and beauty of this place just cannot be understated. As I sat atop this place, I couldn't help but think back at all the things we had done in these short 10 days. The places we saw, the people we met, and the experiences we had moved us beyond words. This was our first successful road trip, the first time we had decided to see the national parks and actually begin to live out our dreams. While we can't go often, nor do we have the money to consistently go out west, Utah lit a fire in our souls to explore more that this country has to offer, and I hope that one day it will truly become more possible.
These shots are gonna be awesome.
No, this is nice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
My first. Thank you guys for being nice to me up here. This is my first like big hike, and I don't know how high was it again, Gabriel?
1,400 feet.
1,400 feet, man. This is
Beautiful.
I'm scared of heights, believe it or not.
Oh, me
So
too.
when I get on planes, I don't look out the window. Even if I sit on the window, I don't look out. So, but I just do that quick glimpse, and I'm like, that's enough. But this is pretty cool. It's a great experience. The weather's great up here too. It's not windy, and people say sometimes it's windy up here, and that's where it gets more scary, But
I was scared I was gonna need like more layers, but I ended up having to take my thermal off.
Same here. I took them off, and this is a great experience.
Yeah.
If you're out here in Utah, make sure to do Angel's Landing, but get your permit first.
Yeah.
So please,
Prepare for that.
Yeah, please, I recommend you guys doing the lottery. It's worth it. It's so worth it. You meet great people coming up here. So
Yes.
It's worth it.
Everybody's been super nice, so
Yeah, everyone here in Utah is nice, actually. So great experience.
thank you.
Thank you, Rachel and Gabe.
I would also like to give a shout out to Minhun and Nanook, the two awesome guys that hiked up Angel's Landing with us. Minhun, thanks for talking with me about photography. It was awesome to see that you were so interested. And Nanook, great job for conquering your fear of heights. I know that Angel's Landing is pretty scary. If you guys ever return to America, please hit us up. We would love to hike with you guys again. As if our day wasn't already good enough, we were less than 15 feet from an 8-pointer buck that crossed the road right in front of us. This buck probably had the most beautiful antlers that I've ever seen. It's our final hike of the trip. Just sunset at Watchman Trail. As the sun glowed on these massive cliffs, we sat by the river to enjoy our last few moments in this amazing park. That Christmas brew pub that is, our hotel area. And with that, our final national park day ended. This is Canyon Coffee. Look at that view. Got the Canyon Coffee with this great view. Last breakfast. Well, we are now leaving Zion and we are heading back to Salt Lake City.
Yay! Also, when?
The drive from Springdale back to Salt Lake City is about 4.5 hours.
Holy shit, cow! Oh, sorry, man.
Thank you for watching all the way through in this road trip series, and hopefully we'll see you guys on the next journey.